Alright, my people, a major diplomatic dispute is unfolding between Ghana and South Africa right now, and many observers believe it could mark a significant shift in how African nations respond to concerns involving their citizens abroad. Ghana's Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa reportedly summoned South Africa's diplomatic representative in Accra and delivered a firm message. According to reports, Ghana is increasingly frustrated by repeated incidents involving migrants and foreign nationals in South Africa and wants stronger action from Pretoria. The message was clear. If South Africa fails to effectively address groups accused of targeting migrants, Ghana may struggle to contain growing demands for stronger retaliatory measures. This has immediately drawn attention to major South Africa investment operating within Ghana, including telecommunications giant MTN and retail chain ShopRite. Many analysts view this as one of Ghana's strongest diplomatic response in recent memory. What began as concern about the safety of Ghanaian citizens has now expanded into broader economic and political discussions. One of the most significant developments involves a major mining agreement linked to South Africa's interests. Ghana has reportedly indicated that it will no longer automatically renew certain mining licenses when they expire.
Economic Affairs has noted with profound concern recent statements by the Chief Executive of Goldfields Limited, Mr. Mike Fraser, indicating that his company has formally applied for a 20-year extension of its current mining lease at the Takwa mines, which expires in April 2027. We are equally aware of attempts by Goldfields Limited to court the support of traditional authorities in Takwa and its environs for this proposed extension. The IEA considers the requested lease renewal or extension, whatever they choose to call it, to be deeply inimical to Ghana's long-term economic and strategic interests, and therefore calls on the government to soundly reject this approach, reject it decisively, while prioritizing a framework that secures meaningful Ghanaian ownership and control of the mines at Takwa.
Instead, authorities intend to conduct detailed review to determine whether this agreement continue to serve Ghana's national interests. For years, South Africa-linked operations have benefited from access to Ghana's highly valuable goods sector. Ghanaian officials now want a closer examination of the economic benefits generated from this arrangement and whether the country is receiving a fair return from its natural resources.
But I will say this today, is that we are not going to give up in any way on Takwa. So in November last year, we submitted a lease extension for the Takwa mine, which would give us, at least for the initial term, another 20 years of mining at Takwa. This will require quite a significant amount of reinvestment. We're going to have to move a huge amount of more material. We're going to have to invest a whole lot in additional fleet and equipment. That's going to require additional manpower to actually move that material over the next 20 years. But what that will do is set up Takwa to be a really successful world-class asset for another 20 years.
Look, at the continental level, Ghana has formally raised the issue before African Union. The government is calling for an investigation into reoccurring allegations of xenophobic violence and anti-immigrant sentiment in South Africa.
In this modern era, we will see such hatred, such xenophobia against each other, against Africans. It is totally unacceptable, it is condemnable, and we will do everything as a government to protect our nationals and to make sure that we demand from the South African government to protect our citizens and to keep them safe, because they owe them that duty of care.
Officials want the matter discussed at high-level African Union meetings and believe the issue deserves urgent continental attention. In addition, Ghana is advocating for an independent commission to investigate the deeper causes behind hostility towards migrants and foreign African nationals living in South Africa. The objective is to identify the underlying factors driving tensions and develop long-term solutions. Supporters of Ghana's position argue that previous diplomatic engagements have produced limited results. They believed South Africa authorities possess the capacity to act more decisively but have not done enough to reassure affected communities. Some point to the cases where attacks against businesses linked to powerful foreign interests received immediate law enforcement responses. They argued this raises legitimate questions about whether the same level of agency is consistently applied when African migrants become victims of violence or intimidations. So right now, this issue particularly is sensitive because Ghana and South Africa have traditionally maintained strong diplomatic ties. Both countries have benefited from visa-free travel arrangements that reflect years of cooperation, trust, and mutual respect. Critics argue that such agreements lose their meaning if citizens feel unsafe while living, working, or doing businesses in partner nation. They believe openness between countries should be accompanied by security and equal protection under the law. Not everyone agrees with Ghana's position. Some believe South Africa is already doing everything reasonably possible under difficult circumstances. Others insist stronger measures are needed to prevent future incidents and rebuild confidence among migrant community. Meanwhile, Ghana has reportedly welcomed home citizens returning from South Africa. Rather than treating them as offenders, authorities have focused on reintegration and support. Reports suggest some returnees have received assistance packages and public recognition upon their arrival. Much of the attention has centered on Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, whose supporters described him as a determined advocate for Ghanaians abroad. They point to previous efforts involving citizens affected by international crises and argue that he has consistently demonstrated a willingness to intervene when Ghanaians face difficulties overseas.
I also am pleased with the discussion so far about the release of our 2 prisoners of war. Let me use this opportunity to assure the Ukrainian people that the Africans who have found themselves here in this war are not sanctioned by African governments. They are not sanctioned by the government of Ghana. I can speak for President Mahama and I can speak for the government of Ghana that these are victims of criminal networks who were lured by the dark web, and a lot of them have told us that they were offered jobs.
South Africa, however, has rejected suggestions that it is concealing information. Government officials have stated that the country has nothing to hide and will submit its own factual report to the African Union regarding the allegations and concerns being raised. The debate continues across Africa. Some view Ghana's actions as a necessary defense of its citizens and national dignity. Others believe the response risks escalating tension between 2 important African partners. What is undeniable is that migrant safety, diplomatic accountability, economic cooperation, and regional solidarity have become central issues in the evolving relationship between Ghana and South Africa. The key question now is whether both nations can resolve these concerns through dialogue, cooperation, and meaningful actions, or whether the dispute will continue to intensify in the months ahead. What do you think will happen between Ghana and South Africa? Whatever it is, just let me know in the comment section, and thank you for watching this channel.
To Ghana, your own country, to the motherland, we send a clear message. Ghanaians have a caring government. Ghanaians are valued. Ghanaians are loved. Ghanaians are cherished. And if you mess around with Ghanaians anywhere in the world, thinking that they are orphaned or nobody cares about them, you are mistaken. And you are making a mess of yourself.